everyone. Today we are going to talk a bit on E.V. Lucas and his essay Bores, which you've got to study in Ways with Words. To give you a brief bio note on Lucas, Edward Verrall Lucas, that is his full name. He was born in London to a Quaker family. Though he is a versatile writer and journalist who had written lots of novels, travelogues, biographies, plays. Of course, he is a great writer in that sense, but we get to know him more as a wonderful short story writer and essayist. He, like any other writer, of course, he is a great observer of human nature and things around him, and he puts it before the readers. The observations, he puts it before the readers in a very witty, humorous and conversational vein. As I told you before, he has written a dozen plus novels, travelogues. He has compiled many anthologies. He has written lots of biographies, including the biography of the Quaker poet Bernard Barton, and he has also written a 2-volume biography of Charles Lamb titled Life of Charles Lamb. He has also edited Charles Lamb's works titled The Works of Charles and Mary Lamb and The Letters of Charles Lamb. Now his travelogues include Highways and Byways in Sussex, which was published in the year 1904, and the Wanderer series. He is associated with the Globe newspaper, the literary journal The Academy, and he has also worked in the magazine Punch throughout his life. He, as a writer, is a commentator on human character who in a very humorous and satirical vein presents human character to us through his works. Now he was of course a very respected writer during his lifetime, and we see him hailed by Edmund Gosse as the best living essayist since Robert Louis Stevenson. But after the World War, what happened was that the literary fashions got changed and his popularity began to fade, and after his death, unfortunately, people lost interest in his works. But once we dig and read his essays and short stories, we find a mind who is able to transform human character with his wisdom and with his wit and satire into beautiful anecdotes or essays. Now let's talk about the essay that you've got to learn in Ways with Words. It is titled Bores, and it's quite an interesting essay in the sense that it talks about us, right? We all are bores. Human beings are in a way bores. At least at some point of your time you would have been a bore, or you would have become a bore for somebody. You bore people, people bore you. That is what life is all about. You bore everyone and people bore you. That is how human beings are. But then we feel like we are so great. People do have a craving for being the most companionable person to others. We never realize that we are boring others, right? So this is of course an essay which makes you think, which lets you reflect on yourself. Let's of course begin. Lucas begins the essay by declaring himself as a bore. He does not actually distance himself by saying that I am not a bore, so I am the right person to speak about bores. No, he does not say that. Instead, he says that I am a bore. He acknowledges the fact. Usually we do not acknowledge, or sorry, we do not declare ourselves as a bore before talking, right? Of course, he declares himself as a bore, and he says that it's only a bore who can write about other bores, right? What do you think, guys? Do you think yourself as a bore? If you do not consider yourself as a bore, you should have some sort of some air of superiority around you, a sort of an assurance, a sort of a confidence to write about bores, right? Otherwise, you should be a bore to write about bores. These are the two things that he says. Either you should be superior enough, you should be assured enough, you should be confident enough to write about other bores, or you should be a bore yourself to write about other bores. So E.V. Lucas places himself in the position of a bore so that he can write about other bores. But E.V. Lucas talks about, as I told you before, he talks about human character as a whole. He says that nobody ever thinks of himself as bore, right? Your true bore is always unconscious of your borishness. And human beings do have a tendency to think of themselves as the most companionable of men, right? So what he says that is that being a bore, when you write about bores, it frees you of the stigma attached to bores. So Lucas says that at some point of time, everyone is a bore. At some moment in life, or during some moments in life, everyone would have become a bore, because every human being do have some sort of a fixed idea to impart to others. And one person's fixed idea would be quite boring for others, right? You have an idea to impart and the other person is not interested to listen to, and you go on talking about that. You do not see that the other person is not interested in it. And what happens ultimately is that you turn out to be a bore. So even the least self-centered of men have some sort of what does he say, even the least self-centered of men now and then does have some sort of a personal experience, some sort of an idea to impart, to share with others, which would obviously inflict boredom in others. Now E.V. Lucas moves on to define who is a bore. Now who is a bore? Whom do you call a bore? Lucas says that a bore is a person who believes that whatever interests him and involves him as the central figure would or must interest others. So what I am interested in, the topics that I am interested in, I insist that you should also be interested in that. And those things where I come as the central person, I come as the protagonist, for example, I become the central figure, and of course I will be interested in that, but then I insist that you should also be interested in it. So what happens is, I have an idea there in my mind, I have a belief, and I try to stand in that particular belief. I not only stand in that particular belief, I want others to stand there as well. So what happens is, I'm forcing somebody else to come to my belief system, or I'm forcing somebody else to be interested in what he or she is not interested in. So bore is a particular person who goes on talking about a particular thing, a particular topic which interests him, in a belief that others are also interested in that. Obviously others won't be interested in the things that you are interested in. So egotism is bore's foundation stone according to E.V. Lucas. E.V. Lucas says that a bore thinks high of himself. He talks high of himself all the time. So there I becomes an important element in his conversation. He is a person who is in the limelight all the time. He lives all the time as a central figure of whatever is happening around him or her. He or she does have that kind of a tendency to attach everything that is happening around them to themselves, or they become the central focus. They become the kind of protagonist of the whole life. What happens? For a bore, All the talks are surrounded around his own affairs. He will build a whole discourse around him. He would be the central figure. His house, his garden, his wife, his children, his car, his health, the way people confide in him, his travels, his in the instinct which makes him choose the best, his own clothes, his own beliefs, his own disbeliefs, etc., etc. And what happens is a bore is always the happiest one, because a bore always feels that he is the center of the universe. Everyone is attending to him all the time. And another interesting point is E.V. Lucas is always focusing on him, not her. Okay, we need to think about that. And he himself thinks about it at one point. He says that no, maybe yeah, we should of course think it in that sense as well. Women can also be bores, or women, of course, like any human being, man and women, of course, both of them would turn out to be bores. So a bore is one whose focus is himself. He becomes the center of the universe. Yeah, then Lucas says that he has been referring to bores exclusively as men, as I told you before. Yeah, we should of course think why Lucas was focusing on men alone, why not women. Of course, women can also be bores. Now let's talk about why bores are happy always. Bores are always happy because they have so much to tell. They cannot keep their tongues tied. They have so much to say. And of course they have so much to say doesn't make them happy enough. You should have a listener, right? If you do not have a listener, if you do not have somebody to listen to what you are saying, what happens is you will never be happy. So a bore is the happiest because he has so much to talk, and he has people to listen. They always find people to listen to what they talk. And why do they have audience? Why do bores always find an audience to talk to? How do they find it, and why do they find it? E.V. Lucas says that they get listeners, bores get listeners because of the ineradicable kindness of human nature. What happens is there will be people like, there are different kinds of people. There will be people who love to talk like bores. All people who are talking will not be bores, okay. So there are people of different natures, and what happens is there are people who are kind enough to listen to bores. In the sense, they will feel like, what if I am offended, or what if I express my offense? What will the other person think? And what happens is this person turns out to be listening to this bore talking because of the kindness of his nature, of her nature. So human beings, according to E.V. Lucas, he says that human beings are basically kind enough to accommodate bores. Human beings do have a tendency to listen to bores just because they do have some sort of a sympathy towards these people. They feel like, let them talk, or yeah, they do have too much to say, right? And that is one reason we listen. Human beings listen. Human beings are so very kind enough to listen. Then second reason is human beings are not so strong enough to say or to offend somebody by saying that, for heaven's sake, please hold your tongue and let me live. You can of course say that, right? If you're getting so bored, you can of course say that, just shut up. Just shut up is too rude. But then you can say that I do have some other business. Yeah, we say that kinds of things often, but we do not want to offend that person by saying that, just hold your tongue. We do not say that. You do not say that, let me live. So nobody says these kinds of things straight to the eye. Nobody tells the boar to go away please. Nobody tells the boar that you weary me, please just leave. You do not say that. So what happens ultimately is that boars make us coward, boars make us weak. This is E.V. Lucas's point. Boars have too much to talk to and they get listeners. They get listeners because of the kindness of human nature. And what is the problem with human nature? We are kind enough to accommodate people. We are not strong enough to say things outright. So ultimately boars turn us coward and weak. So E.V. Lucas says that when a boar comes to us and talk to us, because we are not strong enough to say that you bore me, we have no other option, right, except to listen to him or her, except to endure the whole person, sit and just suffer, kind of suffering. It's all a suffering. That is what you do. You just listen, enjoy the whole process of talking, or what you do is that you elope, you run away carefully. That happens when you see the boar coming and you see the person coming along the way, and what happens is you turn around and rush to your rooms so that you avoid instances of meeting them. The problem with human beings is that you either escape or tolerate, right? You do not say it outright on that particular person's face that you are boring. Now E.V. Lucas gives us a very interesting anecdote where he talks of a friend who had an agreement with a page boy. There was a servant kind of a boy. The duty of this boy is that, it's quite interesting in the sense, the duty of this particular boy is that whenever a friend comes to this man, friend in the sense a boar friend, and whenever this person is attacked or bored by a boar in the club, usually you have clubs where men go, yeah, of course women also go, in the club, when somebody comes and bores him, the boy's duty is to inform this particular man that he has a call over the phone. So what will happen? The problem with this man is that this man was so good enough that he is not ready to offend others, offend the boring person. But then what he is doing is he is using tricks and deception to avoid the bore. But then he doesn't want the boar to know that he is avoiding him. So there are lots and lots of things you should take care of, right? This person is taking care of. One is he cannot take in that boar, as a result of which he tells his page boy that you should of course interfere and say that you have got a phone call, please come and attend it. That was the duty of the page boy. What is the reason behind that? Of course he is using trick, right? He is deceiving this particular person, this particular boar. Why? Because he is not able to straight away tell him that you are boring me. You cannot, he doesn't want to do that. Another thing he doesn't want to do is that this person, this boar, should never feel that the man is avoiding. No, that also should not happen. So what happens is these are the things that we do so that we escape from boars, right? Now E.V. Lucas says that most often simple men turn out to be bores because simple men have too much to talk. Simple men will not have points to say. Simple men would be kind of chatterbox, going on talking nonsense, nonsense, nonsense of course. astute and crafty men and busy men, of course, they are not bores, they are never bores. May not be right in the sense whatever E.V. Lucas says is right, we cannot say that, right? Astute and crafty men turn out to be bores sometimes. Any human being at one moment or moments are there when you are bores, right? You cannot say that these group of men are bores, but then E.V. Lucas says that simple men turn out to be bores, astute and crafty men and busy men are never bores, because he says that bores are never cunning, never wicked enough. It is simplicity which turns out to be their mark of a bore is simplicity. Now Lucas begins to divide bores into different categories. He gives us different categories of bores. The first bore that he is talking about, the most repellent specimen, is the one who comes close up, and the category is the buttonholing bore. The buttonholing bore are kinds of bores who sticks to you all the time. They spread a sort of birdlime. Birdlime is a kind of a sticky liquid which is used to trap birds. They spread a sort of a birdlime all over you. The problem that E.V. Lucas says is, if a boar is maintaining a reasonable distance from you, it's quite easy to deal with him, right? But then if they lead on to you, never leaves you, what happens is you are done. They fix their eyes onto you, they talk on and on, they tell comedies which you will never find funny, but then what happens is you just feign laughter, you just say ha ha ha, just feign laughter. Why do they thrive? Why do they grow? They thrive because of this incurable weakness that E.V. Lucas was talking about, weakness in human nature, that human nature is so kind enough, the incurable nature that we never want to hurt others, right? Human beings never want to hurt others, and of course because we are not strong enough to say that you are boring me. So that is buttonholing bores. They stick to you all the time. They go on talking to you, they stand with you, sit with you, they are there all the time. So you cannot get rid of them. They do not maintain a sort of a distance, right? Now the second type of bore is a kind of bore who begins a story, and then what happens is they begin to tell a story, and you tell that particular person, see, I've heard that story once or twice or thrice, but then if you had heard some story, what the other person should do is, yeah, you know it, of course, okay, then it's fine. No, this person never does that. What this person does is, though you have heard the story, he doesn't stop. He goes on narrating the story as if it's kind of funny, as if the whole narrative process is funny, not the story. When he tells it, he feels like it's more funny, and he goes on narrating it. That is the second kind of a bore. Then you have the third kind of bore who always says that it is the sense of humor that is there in him which saves him all the time. He talks about a lot of things, and he says that where should be we without our sense of humor? And this person feels that he has great sense of humor, and he goes on narrating things. He feels that he is great enough, he has got sense of humor enough. But then what happens is people get bored by that sense of humor. He is not bothered about that. And the fourth kind of bore that E.V. Lucas is talking about is, this kind of bore always talk about living and letting others live. You should live and let others live, right? But he never does that, or she never does that. He or she goes on boring others, and they say that you should live and let others live, right? And now, of course, E.V. Lucas gives us a solution in the form of an anecdote. He winds up the essay by describing an anecdote of an eccentric peer who had the habit of thinking aloud. We usually do not think aloud, in the sense that there is of course a gap between what we think and what we say. We do not say all the things that we think, right? We sometimes you would not like certain person, but then you do not say it out. So there is a cultural gap between what you think. Your thinking would be a pagan sort of a thing, but then your saying would be very cultural. So what happens is, here is a person, an eccentric person, an eccentric friend of him, who has the habit of thinking aloud, but then he does it in a very unconscious manner, and he says that this particular person, when he meets somebody, you see, one of the stories in the memoirs in which I found him describes how he met an acquaintance in St. James Street, and after muttering quite audibly to himself for a few minutes as they walked aside, side by side, confound it, what a nuisance meeting this fellow. I've always disliked him, but now that we have met, I suppose I must ask him to dinner. Now this is the thought that had occurred in his mind. This person has got a tendency to think aloud. Now this is the thought process inside, but then because he had a tendency to unconsciously say it out, he said it aloud. So what happens is, but then what you say, right, to that particular person is, you'll dine with us this evening, won't you? So why E.V. Lucas describes this particular instance is, though we do not like somebody, though we think that we are quite bored with that particular person, we do not say it out, right? So thinking aloud is of course a sort of an armor plate that you can use against bores. We should cultivate, according to E.V. Lucas, we should cultivate the habit of thinking truthfully aloud. We should think aloud, that too truthfully, think aloud. So that unless we can do this or train ourselves to be downright offensive. So he says that you should say what you think, in the sense, if you have this habit of thinking aloud, you can get rid of bores in one sense, because it is because we are not downright offensive, we cannot remedy bores, right? We'll have to escape from them, we'll have to suffer them, because no bore ever thinks of himself as a bore. We never think that we are bores, right? We go on boring others, but then we never think that we are boring others. So no bore ever says, I'll avoid that man in future, I know I bore him. We never say that. We never say that. We avoid somebody because that is a bore, right? So what happens is, in order to get rid of bores, we should learn to be downright offensive, according to E.V. Lucas. If not, what happens is, they will always flourish, right? So what happens is, in order to get rid of bores, the only remedy that we can have is, we should be true to ourselves. We should say what we feel like. If you feel that somebody is boring you, of course you should say it out that you were boring. Of course, if this class was, of course, this session was of course boring, you can comment it in the comment box below, because I don't know whether I was boring you. The bore never understands that he or she is a bore. So, but then the readers, the listeners, of course can communicate the fact that you are a bore. Of course, you can of course comment it in your comment box that I am a bore. If so, if you feel that, okay. So with that we'll wind up. Let us be able to get rid of bores, as E.V. Lucas says. Let us learn to think in a very true way. Let us learn to say things out in a truthfully. Of course, let's learn to say things out truthfully. Let's learn to be true to others. Thank you.